Alright, so I've been using the new iPhone 16 Pro Max for a bit over 24 hours now, and I have some thoughts. This year, the 16 Pro Max is bigger, a bit heavier, and comes packed with specs that make it an absolute beast on paper. But how does it actually hold up in real-world usage? Let's dive into what's changed, what's good, and some things that honestly could have been better.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall.
How's it going, everyone? My name is RJ, and if you guys find value in this video, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of iPhone content underway. Techtember is in full swing. So join the community, and I promise you guys it will be worth the subscription. First off, let's talk about the design. This thing is a monster, literally. We're looking at a 6.9-inch display, which is 0.2 inches bigger than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That doesn't sound like much, but trust me, when you're holding it, you feel that size increase. It's not just a mental thing. This phone is harder to handle one-handed, especially when you're trying to reach the top of the screen. If you are used to thumb acrobatics, get ready to stretch a little bit more. Not only that, but the iPhone 16 Pro Max is also heavier, about 6 grams heavier. Again, on paper, it doesn't sound like a lot, but in your hands, you'll notice the difference. I'm having a bit of trouble balancing it in one hand now, especially when I'm doing the casual one-handed scroll or a quick snap. Let's talk about the materials. We've got these brushed titanium rails this year that are supposed to feel premium, and they do. The texture is smooth and the rails give the phone a really nice sleek look. But let me just say it, I am not feeling this desert titanium color. It's got this sort of pinkish gold hue to it that to me is a bit off-putting. It doesn't really look like the gold that I anticipated. Honestly, I wish the back of the phone looked more like the rails. I think that would have looked sick. If I had to do it all over again, I would have gone with the black titanium. I think this year that is the best Pro Max color. The desert titanium might be the worst color option in the entire iPhone 16 Pro lineup. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. A bunch of Apple employees I talked to were also pretty underwhelmed. Definitely not the flagship color we expected. So if you bought this color with me, join me in taking the L. Durability wise, Apple claims that the phone has twice the drop protection thanks to an improved ceramic shield. I haven't drop tested it yet, and hopefully I won't. But this phone still comes with the trusty IP68 rating. So if you accidentally drop it in the sink or you take it for a swim in shallow water, you should be good. It's great to see Apple carry over USB-C with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Imagine if Apple just reverted back to Lightning. That would be hilarious. But one new feature I'm kind of iffy about is this new camera control button. Now, hear me out. It's great in theory, but in practice, I'm not really sold. The placement feels awkward both in horizontal and vertical orientations. In vertical, it's too low, and in horizontal, it's too far in. Single pressing it brings up the camera button, and double pressing it opens up the camera controls. You can then slide your finger to switch between modes. But honestly, it just doesn't feel as intuitive as I thought it would. Plus, with a case on, accessing the button might be a bit tricky depending on the kind of case that you have. More on case recommendations a bit later in the video. Now, it would be awesome if Apple brought back Touch ID with this button, or if Apple expanded the functionality of the camera control button to let us scroll within apps. Now that would be pretty insane. Okay, now to the display. It's the same OLED display as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but with a bit better resolution. But I gotta admit, I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get an anti-reflective coating like what we have on the S24 Ultra. Imagine how much better usability would be outdoors with that feature. That would have been a game changer in my opinion. The brightness outdoors hits 2000 nits, which is good, but not enough for those super sunny days. I still found myself squinting at times when I was outside. I wish Apple pushed the nits a little bit further here. On a positive note, the bezels are noticeably thinner this year, which is great for content consumption. Watching videos or playing games feels more immersive, but the software still lags behind. No split view or multitasking on iOS 18 to really take advantage of all of that extra screen real estate, which I feel like is a missed opportunity. Now, let's talk about performance. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is rocking the new A18 Pro chipset, and this thing is a powerhouse. We're talking top-tier performance that's going to be future-proof, especially when Apple rolls out Apple Intelligence later down the line. Here's the kicker though. Apple Intelligence won't fully be available until fall of 2025. So while we have this beast of a chipset, we're not really seeing its full potential just yet. It's a little bit of a letdown knowing that the coolest features are still an year or more away. It's like getting a Ferrari but being told you can only drive it in first gear for one whole year. But hey, I could be completely off here and Apple could roll out a full-fledged version of Apple Intelligence in this December. I highly doubt it, but things could get interesting. iOS 18 on the other hand is the most customizable version of iOS we've ever seen. It's starting to feel a little bit more Android-like, but make no mistake, it's still very much an iPhone experience. I've been really digging all of these changes to iOS 18. Now, before we continue, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for today's video, ESR and their lineup of iPhone 16 Pro Max cases. If you're rocking the new iPhone, you'll want protection that doesn't compromise performance, and the ESR stash stand cases are the real deal. What I love about the ESR stash stand case lineup is that it's sleek and slim, but also super durable. It offers all the protection you'd expect without sacrificing fast MagSafe charging speeds. One of my favorite features is how well the stash stand integrates with MagSafe accessories. Whether you're gaming, streaming, or on a video call, you can adjust the stand to any angle between 15 and 85 degrees, giving you the perfect viewing experience no matter what you're doing. Now, speaking of that new camera control button, as I mentioned earlier, I tested out the cutouts on the ESR cases, and it works flawlessly. It's easy to click down on to open the camera or switch between camera controls. And there is no interference from the case. It's a well thought out design that doesn't block any of the phone's functionality. Another standout feature is the strong 1500 gram magnetic lock that ESR cases are equipped with. This is more than twice the strength that Apple offers for their own cases. And trust me, with the iPhone 16 Pro Max being heavier this year, this is something you need. I've already noticed that this phone is slipping off some of my old iPhone 15 Pro Max MagSafe stands. But with this ESR case, that's not an issue. The magnetic lock is strong and you won't have to worry about your phone falling off. If you are after some serious drop protection, check out the Cyber Tough case from ESR. It's engineered with a robust 3-layer design that can withstand drops from an impressive 23 feet of height. Or if you're like me and you prefer something a bit slimmer, the classic hybrid case and the Cloud Soft cases can protect your phone from drops up to 11 feet. These cases feature shock-absorbing air guard corners, a 1.2mm raised screen edge, and a 0.7mm raised camera guard, all engineered for maximum protection. The classic hybrid case with the stash stand has ESR's award-winning design. Even with the stand built in, the back of the case is only 1.6mm thick. And with the Cloud Soft case, you get the same awesome features as the classic hybrid, but with more color options and a soft, comfortable feel. Finally, I want to mention ESR's Armorite screen protector. It's super easy to apply, just 2 simple steps, and it's made from 9H glass, triple strengthened to withstand up to 110 pounds of edge pressure. This thing can handle drops and scratches with ease while keeping your display crystal clear. So if you're looking for solid protection for your iPhone 16 Pro Max without compromising on design or performance, ESR has got you covered. I'll drop a link in the description below so you guys can check out their full range of cases and accessories. And thanks to ESR for sponsoring this video. Alright, let's get to what most people care about, the camera. The main shooter is the same 48 megapixel camera from the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but the A18 Pro chipset really steps up the processing. The tonality in these pictures is noticeably better this year, and the HDR has seen a big upgrade. Look at how it handles these skies in these photos. The blues are more true to life and the overall dynamic range feels more natural. The star of the show though, the upgraded 48 megapixel ultra wide. This thing is sick. It captures insane detail and I'm loving it for a lot of these landscape shots. It does tend to blow off the highlights a little bit when it comes to bright lights like street lamps, but overall it's a beast, even in low light conditions. As a content creator, this is going to be a great upgrade for Instagram stories and Instagram reels, or just daily vlogging here and there. The 5x telephoto lens also got a solid upgrade. Thanks to the better processing, the zoom shots are much crispier now. And oh man, being able to shoot in 4K at 120 FPS, insane. The slow motion shots I've gotten so far are really next level. This makes the iPhone a much more versatile tool, especially if you're into video content creation like me. Apple also added a new feature called Studio Mode for audio. It enhances either the subject's voice or the person filming, depending on how you set it up. I've only played around with it for a little bit, but the results are super impressive. Here's a sample of how it works.
I mean normally right now.
Like, what do you want me to do? Just talk normally?
Yeah, because you know how there's like the studio microphones?
Yeah.
I want to see if you can actually tell the difference between me talking to you from like behind and then you talking.
Alright, so I'm talking to you right now from behind.
Okay.
Now onto the battery life. Apple claimed that the iPhone 16 Pro Max could charge at 45 watts, but in real-world testing it only hits 27 watts max, so not quite the fast charging we were promised. But it's still a bit faster than the 20 watts on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I guess that's a win. As for the screen on time, it's been pretty much on par with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, around 6 hours on 5G give or take. Not terrible, but not an improvement either. We'll need to keep an eye on it over the next few weeks to see how it holds up in the long run. Lastly, let's talk about the price. The iPhone 16 Pro Max comes in at the same price as last year's model, which is a relief. But what really stood out to me is the improvement in the mics. The 16 Pro Max now has 4 microphones and they sound amazing. Here's a quick comparison between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Listen to how much clearer and crispier the audio sounds. Alright, so this is what the mic quality sounds like on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'm sweating because I just got done working on the treadmill and now it's time to stretch. But take a listen to the improved mic quality on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And this is what the mic quality sounds like on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So let me know if you guys can tell the difference. In my opinion, it sounds a lot crispier, it's a lot clearer, and it's also a little bit louder. And yeah, this is what you guys can see. And as you guys can see, I am stretching right now. I gotta get back into shape, man. For creators, once again, the mic is a huge upgrade. No need to carry around external microphones for vlogging or TikTok videos. You can get some pretty high quality audio straight from your phone. So there you guys have it. My honest thoughts on the iPhone 16 Pro Max after 24 hours. There is a lot to love here, but also a few things that didn't quite hit the mark for me. The size and the weight make it less practical for one-handed use, and the color options are kind of meh. But the performance, camera upgrades, and future potential with Apple Intelligence makes this a solid upgrade in my opinion. I'll be keeping an eye on the battery life and the performance over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for the full review. If you picked up the iPhone 16 Pro Max, let me know down in the comments below what you think about the bigger form factor and the camera upgrades. Also, if you made it to the end of this video, drop a dolphin emoji down in the comments below. I would love to know who my true supporters are. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor ESR, and don't forget to flex with your tech.